Hey, quick question. Have you ever sat down to do something important, opened your laptop, stared at the screen, and then somehow ended up scrolling social media for an hour? Yeah, same. And here's the weird part. It's not that you didn't care. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you lack discipline. Because if you were truly lazy, you wouldn't feel guilty afterward. But you do. You feel stressed, behind, frustrated with yourself. You say things like, why can't I just do it? What's wrong with me? Everyone else can focus. Why can't I? So today, let's clear something up. Procrastination is not a time management problem. It's not a productivity problem. And it's definitely not a personality flaw. It's actually a stress response. And once you understand that, everything changes. Let me explain. Most people think procrastination looks like this. You have something important to do. Maybe it's studying. Maybe it's editing a video. Maybe it's applying for a job. Maybe it's starting your business. You know it matters. But instead of doing it, you clean your room, check your phone, watch one video, then 5, then 20, and suddenly the day is gone. So you blame yourself. You say, I'm just a procrastinator. But here's the first thing you need to hear. Stop calling yourself that. Seriously, stop. Because the second you label yourself a procrastinator, it becomes your identity. And identities are hard to change. But procrastination is not who you are. It's just a habit, and habits can be replaced. Now here's where it gets interesting. Research from behavioral psychology shows something surprising. Procrastination isn't about avoiding work. It's about avoiding feelings. Let me say that again. You're not avoiding the task. You're avoiding the emotions the task creates. Think about it. When you sit down to do something important, what shows up? Pressure. What if I mess this up? Doubt. What if it's not good enough? Overwhelm. This is too much. I don't even know where to start. Fear. What if I fail? Your brain doesn't like those feelings. So it does something clever. It tries to protect you. It says, hey, this feels uncomfortable. Let's do something easier instead. So you grab your phone because scrolling feels safe. You watch YouTube because it feels easy. You reorganize your desk because it feels productive without risk. Your brain is choosing comfort over discomfort, not laziness. Comfort. Here's what's happening biologically. When you feel stressed or overwhelmed, your brain activates your survival system. Fight, flight, or freeze. You've heard of fight or flight, but nobody talks about freeze. Freeze is when you shut down. You stall. You avoid. You numb out. Sound familiar? That's procrastination. It's freeze mode. Your brain literally says, this feels threatening. Let's not do it. So you don't. Not because you can't. Because your nervous system thinks it's protecting you. And this is why beating yourself up never works. Because imagine this. You're already stressed. Then you add guilt. Then shame. Then self-criticism. Why am I like this? I'm so lazy. I'll never change. Now you're more stressed, which makes you procrastinate more, which makes you feel worse, which makes you avoid more. And boom, you're stuck in a cycle. Stress, avoid, guilt, more stress, avoid again. That's the procrastination loop. Not laziness, a stress loop. So how do you break it? Not with willpower, not with motivation, not with forcing yourself. You break it with psychology. Here's a simple 3-step reset. And it sounds almost too easy, but it works. Step 1. Forgive yourself. I know that sounds soft, but listen. Research shows that people who forgive themselves for procrastinating are less likely to procrastinate again because guilt keeps the stress alive. Forgiveness lowers the stress, and lower stress means your brain stops trying to escape. So next time you catch yourself scrolling instead of working, don't say, I'm terrible. Say, okay, I must be stressed. That's normal. Just that shift calms your nervous system. Step 2. Ask one question. What am I actually stressed about right now? Not the task, the feeling. Because sometimes it's not even about the work. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you're worried about money. Maybe you had a bad conversation. Maybe you're scared the project won't be perfect. Maybe you're afraid people will judge you. When you name the stress, it loses power. Uncertainty feels scary. Clarity feels manageable. So say it out loud. I'm scared this won't be good enough. I'm overwhelmed. I'm afraid of failing. Good. Now it's visible. Step 3. Shrink the task ridiculously small. Not finish the report. Not edit the whole video. Not study for 3 hours. That's too big. Big tasks trigger stress. Stress triggers avoidance. So go tiny. Open a document. Write 1 sentence. Edit for 1 minute. Study 1 page. Just start, because starting is the hardest part. Once you begin, momentum takes over. Your brain switches from fear mode to action mode. And suddenly, it's not so scary anymore. Here's the truth nobody tells you. You don't need motivation to start. You need movement. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Waiting to feel ready is another form of procrastination. You will rarely feel ready. You just begin anyway. Messy, imperfect, small, but moving. And something amazing happens when you do this consistently. You start trusting yourself. Because every time you say, I'm going to start for 1 minute, and you actually do it, you build self-belief. Confidence doesn't come from thinking. It comes from doing. Tiny promises kept, over and over. That's how you rebuild your identity. Not, I'm a procrastinator, but I'm someone who starts. That's powerful. So next time you catch yourself avoiding something, remember this. Nothing is wrong with you. Your brain isn't broken. You're not lazy. You're just stressed. Calm the stress. Shrink the task. Start small and move. Because progress isn't about giant leaps. It's about tiny steps taken consistently. And honestly, everyone you admire, every productive person, every creator, every successful entrepreneur, they don't feel motivated all the time. They just learn how to start anyway, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. So here's your challenge. Today, pick one thing you've been avoiding. Just one. Forgive yourself. Name the stress. Work for 1 minute. That's it. 1 minute. Because 1 minute turns into 5. 5 turns into 30. And 30 minutes changes your life. You don't need a new personality. You don't need more discipline. You just need a gentler strategy. And now you have one. You've got this. Start small. Start now. And I'll see you in the next one. Like and subscribe for more.